Kelly Gallagher coming through the slalom course in 57.41. The gate poles changed from yesterday's gates. And this is Millie Knight. Should have had Melissa Perrine as well. She's just come through the finish line, in fact. So Melissa Perrine crosses in 54.67. She was the second one down. Millie is the third athlete of the morning to make a start here in the women's VI. Knight, who, to be fair to say, hasn't had the opening to this World Cup that perhaps many expected, but equally, let's play the long game, shall we? If you can pick up form as the World Cup goes on, what happens at the end of the World Cup? Of course, the Winter Paralympic Games. So, probably get away with not finding your form too early in this World Cup competition. First, second and third are the ones that earn the most World Cup points, or at least standing better in the World Cup standings. It's another slowish run from Knight, 59.95, third of the first three. So Millie Knight would need a vast improvement in the second run. Out on the course should be Eleanor Sana. And of course, reminds you, guided by her sister Chloe. Well, this is Henrietta Farkasova. And Farkasova is down. Double winner in the opening 2 days. And a big surprise here in the opening stages. Natalia Subatova skis on merrily around the next two poles. Sana crosses the line. We'll come to that in a second. But the winner of the giant slalom run one, or round 1 and 2, who was dominant over both runs on both days, is out. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4 gates maybe? Well, a big surprise. Big surprise. Now, Sana's time, 1:04.55. And that's blown the competition wide open here in Kuhtai. A chance for people to close in on the World Cup standings straight away. But the conditions, as you say, up the top. It's snowing a fair amount. Down the bottom doesn't seem so bad. Menna Fitzpatrick now. He's already picked up a couple of medals as the day's gone on. Or a couple of podium finishes, shall I say. Fitzpatrick and Jennifer Keogh making their way down. She was second in the first giant slalom competition on day 1. Third yesterday, but with Farkasova down and out, a real chance for the 19-year-old, originally from Macclesfield in England. Here comes Fitzpatrick then through the line in a time of 60.02. So Kelly Gallagher and Melissa Perrine are well ahead at the moment with just 2 to go in the women's VI section. This is Naomi Eva Ristau from Germany. Bib number 7. All the athletes are put into a draw per category the evening before the racing, and well, Ristau won't challenge Perrine either, so the Australian whose run we didn't see fully, and you can see there, Noemi not happy at all. Now, Alexandra Khantseva, Semen Pliaski, the guide here. One of the athletes saying that the course felt quite hard. This snow that we've been having for the last couple of hours may just assist some. It may just go to hiding a few bumps for the sitting and standing guys following as well. But you can see, quite heavy at the top, but not that bad at the bottom. Khantseva will not impact the top three either. So it is going to be Perrine from Australia, Gallagher in third for Great Britain, and in the middle, Ristal of Germany in a time of 56.38, but that lead time 54.67, 1.71 seconds ahead. Good start for the Australians here on day number 3. This is Andrea Rothfuss of Germany now. Rothfuss, the first of our women's standing athletes to go. "17 standing athletes. Rothfuss crosses the line in 57.31. That's the time to beat them. 57.31. Erin Latimer up next. Working her way down. Quite nicely indeed. Just the left hand to be able to use with her pole. Latimer crosses the line. 104.67. See the rest of the times coming through later to see how that leaves the 21-year-old Canadian. This is Petra Smazova. Looking for that 57.31 and 60.66. Spain's Ursula Peyo Maramon is next out of the gate. Maramon, the long hair flowing out of the back of the helmet. Single leg skiers, 33-year-old from Parma de Mallorca. And across she goes, 61.24. That's Jochimsen, in fact, 13. Not sure what happened to the Spaniard halfway through that run. But next up, Ana Maria Rida. Rida pushing on, and she'll come inside the 60-second mark and 57.31. So it's a Germany 1-2 at the moment. Melania Corradini is next. Smashing her way through the posts as neatly as she can. 63.35. Remember, they can push their body right across, even their knees if they want to. Those gate poles, as long as they don't straddle them, as long as the skis don't go either side. Oh, and a big wobble here for Schwarz, and that's the end for number 17. Melanie Schwarz goes out, just catching too many poles in a row and just not being able to correct herself to get inside the next gate. Papulova, one of our neutral athletes. 35-year-old comes across in 56.77 and is the new leader. 0.54 of a second the difference from Rothus. Alana Ramsey. 22-year-old Canadian from Calgary. Ninth in Sochi in the slalom. First here in this World Cup in Kuhtai, and by just short of 9/10 of a second. So Alana Ramsey, our new leader. This is the lady that has won both events so far, but we saw the winner of the women's VI classification go out earlier on. No mistakes from Marie Bochet. 54.13. 1.75 seconds clear of Ramsey, and over 2.5 seconds clear of third. Marie Bochet has certainly arrived here in Kuhtai in sensational form. Stephanie Jallant should be out on the course somewhere. Helena Kratter of Switzerland has started. I get the feeling that Jallant has gone off somewhere. Oh, here comes Jallant just down the final few gates. And just outside my window I can see Stephanie Jallant heading towards the finish. Across the line she goes in 60.42. Kratter coming down not far behind her, so here's Kratter making her way through. Into the final section for Kratter. Through she goes, 107.72, not threatening the top of the standings at all.
Weiter geht's aus Spanien mit der nächsten Läuferin Perez de Juan Barbara mit der Startnummer 23. So, So, die Läuferin aus Spanien geht durchs Ziel mit 1:09,60, reiht sich an die 12. Position. 1:09,60, 1:09.60, 1:09.60, il 12 posto per adesso. Hondo Ami aus Japan mit der Startnummer 24, die nächste Läuferin. Hondo Ami. Euch sind bereits im Zielhang unterwegs, die Läuferin aus Japan. Und Marie Bochet führt immer noch mit ihren 54,13. Die Laufzeit für die Startnummer 24, 1:06.
Hondo 107 for Ami Hondo now.
1:06.69.
Next up is Ilma Gazazic, Bosnia Herzegovina, and Ilma went out in both rounds of the giant slalom event. Doing well so far in this slalom event. The only Bosnian athlete on the circuit here, so individual achievements for many of these athletes. And as I say, Kazajic went out in both first runs of the competitions in the first 2 days. She's going to make it through. Here on day 3, it's 1:22.22. But finding the finish line, an achievement of its own. Molly Jepson wasn't far behind her, 58.31 as she crosses the line. So Jepson's time enough for 6th position at the moment. The sitting event next. Jepson was the final of the standing athletes. Ruth Haxbiel will be first up for the women's slalom sitting event in run 1. Claudia Lausch, the winner of the first 2 days of competition, is Marie Bochet, chatting to someone over her radio. You see, Bochet, as we mentioned during commentary, has been in splendid form in these first couple of days. Has, certainly arrived here with a point to prove. Bochet leads after the first run of the women's slalom standing event. 26-year-old Ruth Haxbiel first up then in the sitting event. Again, these athletes having to work really hard to turn that monoski, sometimes extremely tightly. This the trickier as well, with the gates so tight together. Haxbiel moving steadily through the course so far. Oh, and just as I say that, the ski goes over one of the poles, not around it, and it sends her fumbling into the air. And Haxbiel is out just here, just didn't get round it. The front part of the ski goes over the pole, just where it flexes and bends. But it was enough to elevate her from the ground and out of the competition at the first hurdle. Mamoka Muraoka.
Und dann bereits mit der Startnummer 29, die Doppelsiegerin der letzten 2 Riesentorläufe hier aus dem österreichischen Team, die Sportlerin des Jahres 2000, die Behindertensportlerin des Jahres 2017 mehrfache Olympiasiegerin und Weltmeisterin,
It's up to Mamuka to set the first time then. 20-year-old attempting to do that. Japanese athlete who was been in and about the top 3 positions for both competitions, I was about to say, and she's gone wide, just 3 gates from the bottom. So Muraoka has gone, the only podium finish for Japan so far in the women's giant slalom second event yesterday. And Muraoka has gone. This is Claudia Loesch. Well, we're only going to start with 10 athletes in this women's sitting event. So Claudia Loesch with 2 first place finishes so far shows us how to get through. 61.46 is a bit of a shake of the head. So Loesch navigates the course successfully. This is Anna Schaffelhuber of Germany. And the 24-year-old also looks like she'll complete the course as well as she pushes on. It's a good time, 58.38. It looked like Loesch was upset with her run, and there you can see why. Schaffelhuber coming down in 58.38, some 3 seconds the difference. Those 2 are the only 2 that have completed the course so far. This is Barbara van Bergen sliding out, only a few gates from the start. Well, it didn't look like she missed a gate in the first instance, but she's gone down again here. And if she hasn't missed a gate, she'll continue again. And again, it doesn't look like she has. So she's every right to carry on if she hasn't missed a gate. This is Annalena Forster making a start as well. I can see Van Bergen coming towards the finish area. There's 4 or 5 more gates to go for her. Oh, she's gone very wide down this bottom end. Just recovering it. This is a chance to cross the line. And well, that time for Van Bergen, 1:30.86, but she is third in her own rights because she's only the 3rd person to finish. Here comes Annalena Forster, 54.89. Oh, super quick from Germany's Annalena Forster. The 22-year-old flying through the finish. Heike Edder of Austria on the course now. Forster, who was second and third in the first 2 events, has put herself in a really strong position to take top spot on the podium on day 3. Big slide there from Edder, who will cross the line here in 63.44. Heike getting a big cheer from the locals. Linda van Impelen just having to really drive the ski in there to make this turn another. And she's managed to stay on track, so Van Impelen, oh, just the wrong side. She knows it as well. Just didn't get the front edge of that ski round to the right enough. So Van Impelen is out. She comes down the side of the course. Should be Laurie Stevens on the course somewhere next. Van Impelen is gone. Not sure we'll get a replay of that, but the front edge of the ski just being moved in a different direction slightly before she needed to, and it went round the left side of the pole and not the right side, and that was out. You can see Laurie Stevens had started but hasn't finished. There she's one of the coaches on the course. The debrief starts now for Laurie Stevens, and that could be Stephanie Victor as well. It is. So it looks like Stephanie Victor is another victim of the course. And that is indeed the fact of the matter. So only 5 finishing the course here. Hackspiel and Muraoka didn't finish. Loesch was the first to cross the line and looked rather disappointed with her time, and then that became more and more obvious why, because Straffelhuber then came through in less than 60 seconds in 58.38. Barbara van Bergen had a incident-filled run, but still got to the bottom in 1:30.86. Then it was the turn of Annalena Forster, 54.89. Loesch will stay in third. Heike Edder crossing in fourth, 1:03.44. Van Impelen, Stevens and Victor all falling short at the end of that women's event. So the men's visually impaired event now. 15 athletes to go in this. Maciej Krezel from Poland with Anna Ogazinska, his guide. Six-year-old from Katowice. Taking on the instructions from guide Anna. I spoke to Natalia Subratova, the guide for Henrietta Fakasova, yesterday in some length to understand how much conversation takes place between a guide and a skier, and it genuinely does differ between skier and guide. Some like a constant, others just very brief descriptions. This man needs no introduction of in the VI skiing world, at least. Jon Santakana Mestegui didn't race yesterday. Santakana Mestegui comes through, the 37-year-old from San Sebastian, 54.23, so slightly ahead of Krezel, who crossed in 54.59. Redkozubov, one of our neutral athletes here, Valery Redkozubov, and he's going to come in quick here. 48.56, some 5 seconds quicker than the rest of the field, and Redkozubov getting a big round of applause at the bottom. The 45-year-old is our leader. This is Evan Frantsev. And just pushing it towards the line, 52.25, takes Frantsev second. So the two neutral athletes, 1 and 2 for now, but Mac Marcoux will have something to prove after yesterday's failure to finish in the first run. Hotly fancied to do the double. Marcoux is struggling again. For a second day running, the Canadian is disappointed with himself. I saw him throw his arm in the air. And Mac Marcoux, well, he gets a pat on the back for now. But there won't be a second World Cup success just yet for Mac Marcoux. Winner on day one. This young man was sensational yesterday. Giacomo Bertagnoli of Italy. He's got to come up with a 48.56 or better to lead going into the second run. Bertagnoli batting those poles to the side. 49. He's the closest to Valery Rakoszubov so far. Miroslav Haraus is up next. Little slide from Miroslav just there. He's going to be close as well. In fact, he's inside. 47.65 for the Slovakian. Well, the Slovakian favourite in the women's event went out, but compatriot Haraus goes through very neatly in his first run. He leads by 0.91 of a second as well. Marek Kubacka of Slovakia. 3 Slovakians in a row here because Jakub Krakow is coming next. Kubacka has the lowest visual acuity of all of the athletes. He's an B1 classified athlete. You can sense that by the speed of which his guide Maria Zatovikova is taking him round. But Kubacka pushing on now. Remember the clock has a formula within it to run at a certain speed. Not the same as a standard stopwatch. Kubacka's factored time is 58%. And you can hear, maybe through your device or TV, the instructions coming through, but well, it's still a slow one from Kubacka. So a good opening couple of days. The third Slovak athlete here is Jakub Krakow. Krakow coming towards the finish line, just over 50 seconds, or 50.52, so he's in the running. That's fourth position for him. Now, Renaud Morgenfurt of Austria, new to the circuit, but age 52. Morgenfurt coming down with his guide, Christoph Gmeiner. As you mentioned, he's making his international debut here on home snow. That's not bad, you know. He's in sixth position. 52 seconds for the 52-year-old. He's inside the top 7, so he's 6th now, 4.98 seconds back. This is Kevin Burton. Mark Batten will be next. So 2 Americans together. And we've got 2 Australians, and we'll finish with Damir Mizrak of Croatia. So just a few more of our men's VI athletes, and Burton just catches the pole awkwardly, but steadies himself before crossing the line in 56.53. That's good enough for 9th place for Kevin Burton. Little roll of the shoulder and the drop of the head. Batten. Bib number 48 for Mark. Gets through the first 30 seconds of the course. The 59-year-old. Just following on with his guide. It's Cade Yamamoto. He's still going to cross the line with about 56.29. See those microphones just in front of the mouths, that's how they communicate. So Sean Pianta of Australia, first of the 2 Australians we'll have in a row here, and he's out. Well, Pianta and his guide go out early. This is Patrick Jensen. Just a little wobble from Jensen as well. Jeremy O'Sullivan was Pianta's guide. Lara Falk was the guide for Patrick Jensen. A 21-year-old from Newcastle in Australia, New South Wales. Represented Australia at the World Championships earlier this year. It was actually this event where he got his only finish in 9th. He's going to cross the line 58.46, which puts him 11th for now. He had a DNF in the giant slalom events in those World Championships, so a 9th place finish there. Showed the Australian coaching staff that he was had some potential. This is Damir Mizrak of Croatia. Luka Debravjak is the guide in front of him. Been sharing breakfasts and dinners with the Croatian team, and they'll happily tell us that it's all about improvements for them. They know that they're not near podium finishes just yet, but it's all about getting improvements in their own abilities, their own times. And Damir is his own worst critic. When you discuss it with him, he'll tell you whether he's done all right or not, quite happily. 60.86 for Mizrak on his run. We're into the standing event now. First out of the blocks is Mitchell Gawley, who loves to combine speed with bravery, and a lot of the ethos for the Australian skiers is just to go for it and see what happens. I was talking to one of the coaches about Tori Pendergast only yesterday, and he said, you know, she just wants to go as quick as she can, and she'll work on the turns and how to get through at speed as she goes along. Oh, and Gorley just getting it wrong towards the end. It's all very exciting for everybody. Well, Gorley's got a time here of 50.62. Be interesting to see whether, upon review, that doesn't stand. We've lost. I thought we'd lost somebody because I've just seen somebody ski down the side, but maybe wrong. This is Thomas Walsh crossing the line. He's okay. 0.17 inside Mitchell Gorley. Kirk Schornstein is the man with 54 on his bib for Canada. I don't think we've got 55 at the top, from what I'm understanding. So Schornstein a little way back from the opening two. Thomas Walsh is the leader. Well, we have got Adam Hall, so not sure what that was in my ear, but Adam Hall is there. New Zealander making his way down now into the final stage. This is the push towards the line, and crossing that line in 48.70. So Adam Hall is our new leader. This is James Whitley of Great Britain. 20-year-old makes it down here in 55.27. Finland's Santeri Kivari is next. Kivari working his way through the course.
So, aus Finnland der nächste Läufer, ebenfalls schon am Stockholm-Westen. Kivari Santeri.
Coming to the line now. 50.90, so he goes into fourth position for now.
James aus den Vereinigten Staaten. Mit der nächsten Nummer mit der 59. Das war sie, die Startnummer 8.
This is James Stanton of the United States. Expect these runs to now last anywhere between 50 and 60 seconds. Anything inside that is good, and Stanton pushing 50.18. Still that time from Adam Hall of 48.70. The lead time. This is Arthur Brachet from France. Brachet making his way down. An attempt to emulate some of his World Championship form. 17-year-old bursting onto the scene in Tarvisio earlier in the year. Can Brachet find some form here in the slalom events?
Und geht durchs Ziel mit einer Laufzeit von 49,39. 49,39. 49.39. 49.39. Jetzt auf der Strecke der Thomas Fühl mit der Startnummer.
This is Thomas Fühl of Switzerland. Fühl, again, looking for that time of New Zealand's Adam Hall, 48.70. He's going to struggle to make 48.70. He's going to struggle to be inside 50 or 50.60 as he comes across the line. Adam Hall still leads.
Reiht sich an die 5. Position. Aber jetzt kommt der nächste mit der 62. Bugayev Alexei.
Alexei Bugayev.
Schaut mal den Burschen an. Oh, das blaue Tor da oben, da haben sie alle ein bisschen Schwierigkeiten.
Coming across, he's the new leader. 48.06. Our neutral athlete who was mesmerizing on day one. Couldn't do anything about Theo Guimont yesterday, but Alexei Bugayev leads the way. Thomas Mulder. "23-year-old from Rotterdam. First time he ever tried skiing was in Austria back in 1998, so he wanted to try something new, and here he is competing in a World Cup back where it all began. A couple of trips to the World Championships over time, but looking for better performances than those he has so far. 52.17 leaves him inside the top 10 for now. Now Jeffrey Stutt is coming in a few moments. Thomas Rocha is out on the course and is out altogether, in fact, as I look up. So Rocha is gone. Jeffrey Stutt, on the other hand, 22-year-old. Nah. Disappointed with his giant slalom runs. Oh, and Jeffrey Stutt will be disappointed with that as well. He's going to be able to carry on, actually. He managed to stick it in reverse and keep on going somehow, but that will take the wind massively out of the 22-year-old sails. Trains in Arnhem. The slalom event is gone for Jeffrey Stutt. Well, his main titles so far have come in the downhill and the Super G. These 2 slalom days have not been, or 3 slalom days altogether. The giant slalom for the first 2 days and the slalom today have not been Jeffrey's friend. There he is. Big Ajax fan is Jeffrey Stutt, and a passionate young man launching his poles into the ground. Crossing the line here is Martin Wrz of Austria. He's got himself a time of 49.73. I've lost sight of Jeffrey Stutt. I think he's calmed down now, though. Alexander Alyabayev. One of our neutral athletes again. The lead time in this is by Alexei Bugayev. Alyabayev going well so far, and towards the finish he comes. The 28-year-old crosses the line in 5th position, 49.85. There's our current leader. He'll have a chat with Alexander Alyabayev, I'm sure. Now Martin France, one of the athletes who can't use a pole in either hand. So Martin France manoeuvring his way through the course. Very experienced athlete. A 33-year-old. A few medals back in the early 2000s at World Championship level. Has been close on so many occasions to replicating that, as he comes through here in 53.96. You can see that was hard work for Martin France. Fourth in Sochi, the giant slalom. So close to that Winter Paralympic medal. This is Brossan. Jordan Brossan crossing the line in 55.58, so that's only good enough for 15th place as it stands.
Und hat eine Laufzeit von 55,58. 55.58. 55. So, jetzt kommt
Braden Luscombe.
Braden aus Kanada.
Now, 25-year-old from Canada, from Duncan, to be precise. How will he fare out on the course here this morning? Luscombe's time is 54.31.
54.31.
Luscombe finishing with that 54.31. That leaves him in 14th position. Now Theo Gibber of Switzerland topped the lot yesterday, winning the second giant slalom event. First person to stop, Alexei Bogaev. Just a little messy through that section. And Theo, he's in around 10th or 11th position there. 12th to be exact, 4.63 seconds back.
52.69. Aus Australien, O'Callaghan,
Jonty O'Callaghan.
72. Jonty O'Callaghan.
Next up.
Da ist im Zielhang bereits unterwegs. Oh, das blaue Tor. Das ist schon in vielen Läufern zum Verhängnis geworden. Kommt nicht.
Well, gets himself in a little bit of trouble, does O'Callaghan. And can't correct himself and goes out so close to the finish. Bogaev looking on, he's not affected by any of that. So O'Callaghan goes. Aaron Lindström next. Aaron Lindström from Sweden, 17-year-old, crosses the line in 50.97. That's not a bad time. Had a tough time at the World Champs early in the year, did Lindström.
So, aus Belgien, Balsen Jasper mit der Startnummer 74.
Jasper Balchen of Belgium next down on the course. Didn't compete in the second run of the giant slalom yesterday. Balchen concentrating here on this slalom run this morning. Balchen already coming up to the 50-second mark. And towards the line in around about 57, just outside, 58.08 for Balchen.
58.08. 58.08. So, aus der Schweiz.
This is Robin Kusch. Kusch will be looking to improve on some performances from the first 2 days as well. 19-year-old from Neuchâtel. Crosses the line in 52.55. Top 13, less than 4.5 seconds back here.
52.55.
Alexis Drummond.
Alexis Dumont aus Kanada mit der Startnummer 76. Und dann haben wir ein Österreicher-Paket, 3 österreichische Läufer hintereinander. Machen wir gleich die österreichischen Meisterschaften, dann haben wir das auch hinter uns, Michael. So, warten wir jetzt auf den Läufer aus Kanada.
So, Guimont.
Anzeigetafel springt auf Nico PyeongChang.
Was out on the course? We're looking at Nico PyeongChang now.
Er ist bereits
From
77
77.
Sekunden unterwegs im oberen Teil. Nico PyeongChang did not finish the number 76. Und nach dem Nico kommt gleich der Kurz Andreas und dann der Ernst Julian. Also 3 Österreicher jetzt hintereinander. Jawohl, blau.
Oh, right at the end again.
Das eine blaue Tor da oben, das ist ja wie verhext. Nico.
Right at the end is there's obviously a tricky part there that's catching a few out, and Nico PyeongChang is one of those.
Also den Burschen läuft es da in Kuhtai nicht gar so. Also und dann fahren sie mal gut, dann haben sie noch Pech da oben. Also es ist verhext. Kurz Andreas, hoffentlich macht das besser mit der Startnummer 78. Kurz Andreas. Jetzt werden wir schauen, ob Andreas Informationen bekommen hat bei dem blauen Tor, sonst schreit mir auf.
Andreas Kurs now.
Ja, das ist gegangen. Und jetzt Gas geben.
Coming in towards the bottom of his run, 57.77. You still see that lead, 48.06. Wonderful time from Alexei Bugayev. Can he emulate the success that he had on day one?
Und der Julian Ernst mit der 79 ist der nächste auf der Strecke.
These bib draws have been good. This is a third Austrian in a row now. We've had that for a few nations so far. Julian Ernst, the next out.
Das blaue Tor, Julian.
Into the bottom section. Again, just another wobble as they drop into the final section, but Julian Ernst gets himself across the line.
Es ist die 19. Position für den zweiten Durchgang für jetzt einmal. Mit der 80 auf der Strecke ist der nächste Läufer Bendotti Davide aus Italien.
Davide Bendotti
Davide Bendotti
is the next athlete up. Bendotti, another of our single leg skiers. There's obviously something in the lower part of the course that's catching a few out.
So, da ist ein Ziel jetzt.
Bendotti already
Das blaue Tor da.
over the 48, and it's that right-hander there
Geht's mit Anschieb besser,
as
das
they
mein Nico sagen. So, nächstes Mal mit
move on to a
Teufel nochmal. So, geht durchs Ziel mit
sharp
59,
slope
57, 59,
just in front of the finish.
57, Position
But Bendotti
23.
masters it, and
Dann haben wir 57,
still smiling, Alexei Bugayev.
von
He's
79.
every right to.
Aus Japan, der nächste Läufer mit der
That is a
81.
brilliant performance.
Im Zielhang. Jetzt dann kommt er an die Schlüsselstelle da. Oh,
Nakuta Korike
blaue Tor
out
dieses
towards the end as well.
Dann haben wir mehr Läufer.
And it's getting rather agonising for a few of them. Here it is. Look, it's just that right turn.
Die Nummer 81.
Just seems to come away from them
Orvarsson
as they try and check back onto their right side. Their body weight shifting.
Start Nummer 82.
They're losing their skis from underneath them.
Als tolle Fußballer von der letzten WM noch. Also schau mal, wie es in dem
And missing out on the finish line.
Hilmar Orvarsson.
Agonisingly close each time as well.
Da kommt er jetzt, dem Zielhang.
So Hilmar Orvarsson, he masters that tricky corner at the end there, and he'll come through the line in 58.49.
58, 49. 58.49. 58.49. Mikushin Alexei.
Bugayev still there.
Nächste. Dann haben wir noch 3 Läufer bei den Stehendherren.
Alexei
Und dann gehen wir zur
Mikushin.
letzten Gruppe der Sitzendherren. 116 Starterinnen und Starter. So, Alexei Mikushin.
Already outside the 48.06, but Mikushin will come in with a 54.31, which is good enough for 17th place. Sergei Alexandrov is next. He also a neutral Paralympic athlete.
Mit der 84 Alexandrov Sergei.
Sergei Alexandrov is
Ist er unterwegs im Zielhang? Ja, bei dem Tempo geht's leicht, gell? Das blaue Tor. Die Nummer 85 ist das, die Startnummer 85. Jack Daniel Peters aus Großbritannien. So, und der letzte bei den Stehendherren auf der Strecke mit der 86. Takahashi Koei aus Japan. Da ist er im Zielhang unterwegs.
Kohei Takahashi. Just maneuvering the final few poles out of the way in his run. 60.38.
So, jetzt haben wir wieder Rutschkommando, Startumbau für die Sitzenden. Letzte Gruppe, 116 Läuferinnen und Läufer. Und dann geht's los. Letzte Gruppe der Herren haben wir jetzt am Start.
So that's the end of the first run for the standing slalom event. We'll have the sitting event in a moment.
Bei den Veranstaltungen und genauso heißt es bei uns auch hier in diesen
small town of Kuhtai.
Keine Sponsoren, keine Veranstaltungen. Unica, der verlässliche Partner dieser Unica-Versicherung des österreichischen Skiverbandes und hier in diesem Behindertensport. Innsbruck und seine Feriendörfer. Tiroler Wasserkraft,
spot of attention
Tirol, Gerber
for
Hotels in
Kuhtai.
Kuhtai,
Wassen.
Kuhtai. Allianz
Igor
Versicherung
Sokorski
zum ersten Mal
is
mit dabei.
next to come through in the men's sitting event. Poland's Sokorski
Ist euch kalt? Ja!
starts the sitting event. Our
Super.
announcers certainly having fun out on course. Oh, Sokorski goes,
Tiroler.
and a very frustrated
Tiroler, bist ja Mensch, bist keiner, bist erlaubt.
Igor Sokorski as he hits the deck.
So, wir warten jetzt auf die letzte Gruppe. Sitzen Herren, schauen wir, wie es
27-year-old
österreichischen Läufer
showing his
geht.
frustration at the end there.
Da haben wir ja den Rabel-Roman.
As we turn our attentions then to Taiki Mori, Mori of Japan.
Aber ich hab zu ihm gesagt, Roman, die Pizza, die was du da am Teller hast, die kann nichts dafür, wenn du so fährst, gell?
Mori
Schau mal, wie es ihm heute geht im Slalom, den mag er ja nicht.
moving well so far.
Mori Taiki mit der Startnummer 88, der erste Läufer auf der Strecke. Aus Japan mit der Startnummer 88.
Taiki Mori.
Schauen wir mal, wen haben wir denn da alles?
Over 25 seconds through his run here, the 37-year-old.
Da haben wir einen Simon, den Wallner Simon noch.
He
Schau mal, wie sind die zwei Burschen
will have the
geht.
chance to set the opening time, of course, with Sokorski
Oder ob
going
es
out.
heute noch eine Standbauke gibt vom Erik am Abend. Wie sie sich da zusammengesetzt haben und das Rennen diskutiert haben, da haben wir uns alle verzogen, gell, weil das war uns dann zu hart. Der hat sie ordentlich angenommen, diese Burschen. So,
The office
Mori
worker.
Taiki aus Japan mit der Startnummer
Made
88.
his debut back in 2002 for Japan. Super experienced and plenty of Paralympic Games medals all the way back to 2006. And 52-56 for Mori. Nothing to base that on just yet. And Tyler Walker, who has been so close to having top spot in the opening couple of days, has a chance to set the standard here with Taiki Mori, 52-56. Oh, and just getting his arm caught in one of the poles, but Walker has used all of his experience and skill to stay on track and crosses the line in 51-50. So how much quicker would he have gone without that little mistake towards the end? Johan Taboulet of France, that was him starting, and that's him sitting halfway through the course. So Taboulet is out of the competition. It's Takeshi Suzuki now. Suzuki looking to emulate what Mori did a few moments ago and complete the course. 29-year-old. Just using the upper part of his right and left arm to bat the gate poles away, and he just went over the back end of one a moment ago. We've seen a couple of those moments in the women's event earlier on. The man from Fukushima, though, is still going. So Suzuki trying to get close to that 51-50 that Tyler Walker has set here. Winner of the slalom in Sochi back in 2014. He'll be having thoughts of defending that title early in 2018, but 52-29 puts him in second, ahead of Taiki Mori for now. Kuhtai of Germany was scheduled to be next. That's Andrew Kirker that we're following on the screen. So we'll see what's happened to Kuhtai in a moment, but this is Kirker. American. Who has had a tough time so far here. 25-year-old going better this time around. He's into the final section, visible from the commentary box window, and this is the gate that's caught a few people out, and Kirker certainly had to work hard, the 25-year-old from Anchorage. And through the line in 54-16, so he doesn't get near to his compatriot Tyler Walker either, but it's USA, Japan, Japan, USA as the standings go. Now Jesper Pedersen has been so good in the opening couple of days. He's been top of the podium for both the giant slaloms, and he's certainly showing the rest of the world his ability here in Kuhtai. Pedersen looking to get inside 51-50. He's done it again, 49-70. Well, the young Norwegian really has got everybody talking in the men's sitting event. It's Niels de Langen, who will look to come somewhere near these top times. De Langen quite wide there. Just needs to narrow some of these gates off as he comes into this bottom section. He's got himself past the tricky section towards the end and crosses in 52.91, which is good enough for 5th place at the moment. François of France next up, the 40-year-old. Bib 96, here the Frenchman.
It's nice when you see here the leaderboard, Jesper.
A bit of snowboarding in his time as Frédéric François. Steadily on course so far. Aiming to get to his second Winter Paralympic Games. Was a 5th place finisher twice in Sochi, and edging forward for a 51.37, which, well, that puts him in second for now. There's still some big names left to come in this contest, but Frédéric Francois, 51.36, has got himself in second. Björn Benke of Germany up next. Join Benke live. He's going okay so far. Benke not quite as quick as some before him. You can visibly tell that through watching on the screen here, but he's going to come in and around about 58, 57, 67 for Björn Benke of Germany. That leaves him in 8th position, the 19-year-old, making his team debut on the international circuit. So maybe more about learning for Björn Benke than it will be for winning medals. This is Roman Rabel of Austria. Another with a vast amount of experience. The 26-year-old crosses the line in 53.05 though. Multi-medalist in Sochi is Roman Rabel. So we're looking for better form later in this World Cup series. Yasmin Bamba of the US has slid out on the first run on both days so far. He will be looking for a far more steady trip down the mountain this time around. Well, he's mastered the first 50 seconds of this run, so this could be Yasmin Bamba's first foray across the line. It's not going to be quick enough to contest the podium places, but after the first couple of days, maybe Bamba's sole intention here is to make sure he gets to the bottom, and he's going to do that. So Yasmin Bamba crosses in 106.73. The American just a shake of the head as well. Josh Elliott, number 100 this morning, and he's already gone as Josh Elliott. So the 36-year-old, in fact, no, he's obviously slowed to the point where he was struggling, but he's still coming down. So Elliott will cross the line and throws his arms up. 59.53. Obviously had some difficulties between the start and where we joined him live. Now this is Joran Kamström, who I spoke to yesterday, who is disappointed so far, and he's going to be more disappointed as he does exactly the same as what he did yesterday, getting his arm caught up in the gate. And Kamström struggling, not the first to struggle in that area, but Kamström is gone again. This is Akira Kano. Kano just making sure that that monoski goes the right side of the pole at all times. Anywhere around 60 seconds and you're outside the top 10. So you've got to be quick here this morning on day 3 of the Kuhtai World Cup. Kano just appearing in the bottom section here. This could be quite good in terms of a top 10 finish. 56.84 gets him into 9th position now. So Kano will be followed by Di Silvestro. 21-year-old who yesterday put in a great performance in the second of the giant slalom events. You see the concentration in the eyes of René Di Silvestro. Just a slight pause at the start line. He raced twice at the World Championships in Mauricio earlier in the year. There is a familiar sight over the first couple of days. Jesper Pedersen has been sat in that winner's box a long, long time over the first 2 days, and he's going to sit there for a while again here on the third day. A DNF and a disqualification in Mauricio for Di Silvestro. Also took part in the javelin throw at the European Athletics Championships. This was also held in Italy last year. I know that because I was there for that as well. Came 7th in that competition. Pedersen continues to wait. So Norway, France, USA as it stands. Frédéric Francois with a top performance. So far, it has to be said, to be ahead of Tyler Walker. Finally, we're ready for René Di Silvestro. Again, it's okay to put your arm either side of the pole, but it's when you get it caught up
Here comes the sun.
and you don't hit it in the right place.
So, wir haben die Strecke wieder frei.
Sunlight just climbing for the first time high enough above the mountains in the distance. And Di Silvestro coming over the brow of that hill. You see a bit of light towards the top right of your screen a couple of moments ago. The sun, though, soon swallowed up by the clouds that have gathered here on day 3. Oh, he's got himself a little wide, but he's looked to have corrected it, Di Silvestro. And he may just get himself across the line with a decent time here. Still got the tricky bottom section to manoeuvre. 2 more gates and he's into the troublesome area, and he's managed to find another troublesome area himself. Trying to get back onto his left side to make a left turn, and he's just got the ski caught in a groove, and down he slides. Unlucky for Di Silvestro. Kurt Oatway next up. And, he's out as well. So Oatway off the course. And that's him done for the day. The Canadian. So Markus Grachterhofer of Austria should be next, 105. That is indeed him. Just takes a little wide berth through that section, which slows him down considerably. And you see the pitfalls for some of the world's best, and the rest have to try and follow that. Grachterhofer going well. So 35 seconds in here. We've had world champion Jeroen Kamstra already out of the competition, so it can happen to the best. Grachterhofer, yes, similar way to Yasmin Bamba here, just trying to make sure he gets to the bottom. And Grachterhofer will cross the line in 54.01. Big slide towards the bottom end. And Pedersen continues to lead. Pedersen applauding all of the rest of the athletes down. So whilst he sits in the winner's box, he's playing cheerleader as well. So Floris Meijer of the Netherlands up next. Floris from Hilversum, originally in the Netherlands. The 28-year-old slipping and sliding his way to the bottom. 58.52 is good enough for a 12th place at the moment. Time from Pedersen, 49.70. So quick. So quick.
Did not finish the number 107.
Simon Wallner with a non-finish. This is Murat Pelli.
108, der nächste Läufer, auf dem erwarten. Belit Murat.
Pelli with 108 on that bib. 35-year-old. Lives in Stabio, in Switzerland. Took up the sport in 2009. Oh, he's going to have to go some to get back on course, and he can't. Just got too wide on that right-hander. And Murat Pelli is the second in a row to go, following Simon Wallner. Should have Enrique Plante on course next. This is Plante.
108.
Argentine with the orange protective helmet. Plante brings us into shot of the team hotel. Oh, he's got wide and he's out. 3 in a row here on the course. Just missed one of the gates and knew it straight away, so he heads down the side as quickly as he can to the bottom. See how much easier that is at the side without the gate posts. But onto the hardened course. Watered before the event. Oh, and Mark Sawyer catches a unfortunate bump. Has he managed to stay within the posts? He has, you know, or at least he believes he has, so he'll carry on. But Mark Sawyer took a huge bump. We haven't seen anybody leave the course like we did yesterday. But Mark Sawyer, the 39-year-old from Melbourne, manages to get himself back on track and has carried on. And with every intention of finishing his first run of the day. So Sawyer just goes past the time of Pedersen now. He's got himself wide again here. He's going to have to slow it down to be able to recover that quick section, but Sawyer will indeed get himself across the line, pushing that body forward. 14th position, 60.69 for Mark Sawyer. Now, Thomas Notte should be next, and he was the man I was mentioning a couple of moments ago who had that spectacular exit from the course. So this is Thomas Notte of Germany. So far, no issues like yesterday to report. If you just catch those poles in the wrong place on the body, they can drag you back. Wear some protective padding underneath those clothes, and you want to get as close as you can to these poles, so smacking through them has to not be an issue. And well, Thomas Notte, after yesterday's aerodynamic fly through the air, much better this time around from Notte. That is Mika Weifler of Switzerland next. Weifler in the yellow hat. Can he make an impact on the top 10? You're looking at 56 seconds or so for that to be a thing. But Weifler not able to make it inside 56. It's going to push to be inside a minute, or just about. 59.87 for Weifler of Switzerland. Kenji Natsume has made a start at the top. Well, at least he should have done, because this is Dino Sokolovic. So, not sure what's happened to Kenji Natsumi. Ah, there he is. Kenji Natsumi. Halfway down or so. In fact, he's just coming into the final section here. This is the tricky left-hander that's caught a few out. Not this time around. So Natsume will make it to the bottom. His time will be 59.77. And that's only good enough for 15th place. So Dino Sokolovic, where's he now on the course? 112. 114 on the bib. Here comes Sokolovic. He said today was all about getting down as quick as possible. Oh, and Dino Sokolovic, 50.84. Second position for the Croatian, who yesterday had to go and get emergency repairs to his mono ski after breaking it during practice. So he didn't compete yesterday. And certainly they fixed it. It goes a lot faster when it works. 50.84. So this is Alessandro Varotto, who should be bib 115, but he's wearing 129. I can't ever go to anybody for losing things. That's my worst trait. Alessandro Varotto, wearing 129, and turning in the bottom half of the course. He's really having to work hard. Will come across the line in 105.56. So well done to Varotto in the end. They just kept on going. Danilo Rossi should be our final athlete. And he too is wearing 130, and well, he, like a few before him, doesn't make it to the bottom either. So Danilo Rossi is out, and that man on your screen is the winner of the men's sitting event. So there's the standings after the first run here on day 3. It's the first slalom event of the World Cup season. Jesper Pedersen is proving oh so difficult to beat in these opening 3 days. For a third day running, he sits top after run number 1. In the standing event, it was Alexei Burgaev, 48.06, that leads the way from New Zealand's Adam Hall and France's Arthur Barchet. The men's VI, well, Matt Mocho had a great first day, disappointing second day. He and Schrompianta both struggled as well today. It's Annalena Forster of Germany who led the field.
Den ersten Durchgang haben wir beendet. Start für den zweiten Durchgang.
The dominant Marie Bochet once again in control in the standing event. And a surprise exit for Henrietta Farkasova as Melissa Perrine of Australia leads us into round 2. That's all for now here on run number 1 on day number 3 of the World Para Alpine Skiing World Cup from Kuhtai. Join us again a little bit later on.